Inhabitants of Room 18. This documentary is about three subjects: ironclads, Civil War technology, and the surrender at Appomattox Courthouse. The Civil War was considered the first war in a new era of modern wars, primarily due to the fact that it made use of more advanced, more lethal, and more fatal weapons. This modern warfare included and was not limited to swords, knives, pistols, rifles, cannons, hand grenades, and machine guns. According to the article, Civil War weapons from Historian.com. Popular swords include the Model 1832-foot artillery sword, Model 1832 dragoon saber, Model 1840 light artillery saber, and the Model 1840 Army non-commissioned officer's sword. One of the popular knife models was the Bowie knife, which was first popularized by Jim Bowie in the early 19th century. Some of the firearms used include the Adams revolver, the Colt Police, the Remington Model 1858, the Steyr revolver, and the volcanic pistol, just to name a few. Some of the rifles used include the Springfield Model 1861, the Lorenz rifle, the Whitworth rifle, the volcanic carbine, and the M1819 Hall rifle. Also, just to name a few. What made some of these firearms even more dangerous than previous models in the past was that they had rifled barrels and could shoot mini 8-balls, which were a type of bullet that was devised to expand while traveling across the rifle barrel so as to have increased muzzle velocity, and in order to increase its accuracy and range. Cannons include the 12-pound howitzer, the 3-inch ordnance rifle, and the 10-pound Parrott rifle. One example of a hand grenade was the Ketchum hand grenade, which was patented on the 20th of August 1861 by William Ketchum, a mayor of Buffalo, New York, and was somewhat accepted by the Union Army, but not the Confederate Army. Last but definitely not least, the Gatling gun, which was a machine gun invented by Richard Gatling, proved to be one of the Union Army's most devastating weapons and advantages over the South when it was first used in combat in the 1860s towards the end of the war. The Merrimac was some, till the Monitor she come. Since Lincoln had ordered a naval blockade of southern ports, preventing the South from exporting its cotton, and from importing goods such as coffee, shiz, nails, and supplies necessary to continue the war, such as guns and ammunition, they salvaged the Merrimac, a wooden Union warship that Northern forces had abandoned when Confederate forces seized the naval shipyard in Norfolk, Virginia. They rebuilt it, engulfed it with thick iron plates, and renamed it the Virginia. On the 8th of March 1862, this ironclad, or warship, assaulted a group of Union ships off the coast of Virginia, and was invincible to their shells due to its new iron covering. The North sent an ironclad ship of its own, the Monitor, to engage the Confederate ship in battle. But neither ship could sink the other when the two ironclads exchanged fire on the 9th of March 1862. However, the Union did succeed in keeping the Merrimac in the harbor. The battle marked a new age in naval warfare, because it was the first battle between two metal-covered ships, and both the North and South used these ships as models to build more ironclad ships. The second week of April 1865, Confederate General Robert Edward Lee moved his army west of Richmond, hoping to link up with the small Confederate forces that were trying to stop Union General William Tecumseh Eshelman's advance. But the Union Army blocked his escape route and demanded its surrender. Realizing the situation was hopeless, Lee said, "There is nothing left for me but to go and see General Grant, and I would rather die 1,000 deaths," quoted in Voices of the Civil War. On the 9th of April, 1865, the two generals met in the parlor of a private home in a small Virginia village called Appomattox Courthouse. After Lee received Grant's assurances that Lee's troops would be fed, allowed to keep their horses, and would not be tried for treason, he signed the surrender documents, thus concluding and ending the Confederate war effort.
The Civil War had finally ended, but Grant later wrote that he found the scene at the Appomattox Courthouse more tragic than joyful. Grant said, "I felt like anything rather than rejoicing at the downfall of a foe who had fought so long and so valiantly, and had suffered so much for a cause, though that cause was, I believe, one of the worst for which a person ever fought for, and one for which there was the least excuse." The Civil War was considered one of the first modern wars because of its advanced technology, which simultaneously also caused the gradual decrease in tactics and gradual increase in reliance on weapons. The Civil War was the first time that featured the widespread use of mechanical and electrical equipment, in which troops traveled by railroad and in which messages were sent by telegraph. These new technologies heavily influenced the ways generals made battlefield decisions, and of course, the battle between the USS Monitor and the CSS Merrimac was a major milestone because it was the first battle between two ironclad ships.